The silent sabotage. Dr. Foster reveals the number one way you're destroying your liver daily, and it's not alcohol. Did you know there's one single action many of you take every day that puts your liver at risk, yet it's often overlooked in discussions about health? You might be picturing a glass of whiskey or a greasy diner meal, but the real culprit is far more insidious, lurking not just in your pantry, but right inside your medicine cabinet. Hello, health champions. I'm Dr. Daniel Foster, and as a specialist focused on the well-being of older adults, I see firsthand the silent damage that accumulates over a lifetime. It's a tragedy that plays out every year across the United States, where over 50,000 people die from acute liver failure. Worldwide, that number swells to a staggering 2 million. When you look at the first 4 letters of the word liver, it spells out lev. This organ is not just a filter. It is central to your existence, your vitality, and your ability to thrive well into your golden years. You absolutely want to pay attention to it. For decades, when we talked about liver failure and cirrhosis, the conversation was almost exclusively dominated by alcohol abuse. And while alcohol certainly remains a significant factor, today it is merely one among many. The narrative has changed, and a new, more pervasive threat has emerged, one that is so common, so readily available, and so often mistakenly viewed as harmless, that it has become the number one cause of acute liver failure in the US. That's a shocking statement, but it's a verified fact we must address head-on, especially for those of you over 60, who often manage multiple health issues and consequently, multiple medications. The common misconception is that if a product is sold over the counter, OTC, in every supermarket and drugstore across America, it must be perfectly safe. This idea creates a false sense of security, leading many to treat these non-prescription drugs with casual disregard, taking them just in case, or combining them without a second thought. But this seemingly innocuous habit, fueled by the convenience of modern living, is the very thing secretly compromising your liver's regenerative power. The truth is, your body burden, the total cumulative stress placed on your liver, is constantly increasing due to a mix of modern environmental, dietary, and pharmaceutical factors. This article isn't about telling you to stop taking your necessary medications, but rather to shed light on how our lifestyle choices and our approach to OTC pain relief create a perfect storm for liver damage. We're going to dive deep into 3 critical areas, beyond just alcohol, that are adding to your liver's daily workload, and I'll give you clear, actionable steps to protect this vital, life-sustaining organ. Get ready to learn about the body burden concept, why your sweet tooth is directly taxing your liver, and the urgent need to scrutinize the labels on those little white pills. Part 1. The hidden toxin in your medicine cabinet, why OTC pain relievers are the number one threat. We must start with the most common and dangerous culprit. If we're going to talk about the number one cause of acute liver failure in the United States, it is most often quoted as being acetaminophen. This is the active ingredient found in Tylenol, one of the most widely used and trusted pain and fever reducers in the world. The problem: a false sense of security. The reason this drug is so hazardous to your liver is its unique metabolic pathway. Acetaminophen is extremely taxing on the liver's biotransformation process. While the liver is equipped to process a safe dose, it quickly becomes overwhelmed when that dose is exceeded, even slightly, or if the drug is taken while the liver is already stressed. Here's a chilling fact you need to understand. An overdose of acetaminophen can destroy half of a person's liver cells in less than a week. Despite this profound toxicity, it is sold everywhere without a prescription, fostering the dangerous belief that, if they sell it everywhere, how bad can it be? This is why the old way of thinking, that only prescription drugs pose a risk, is insufficient. Many people are cautious about their doctor-prescribed medications because they often come with longer lists of side effects. They see the OTC options as a safe fallback, but they fail to realize that the danger lies not just in Tylenol itself, but in the dozens of common combination products that contain acetaminophen, making it frighteningly easy to accidentally overdose. The importance, the cumulative effect of combination drugs. You may be very cautious about taking Tylenol, perhaps reserving it only for a severe headache. But do you check the active ingredients of your other remedies? Many popular products for cold, flu, and sinus relief Things like NyQuil, Dayquil, Excedrin, Alka-Seltzer Plus, Mucinex, and Robitussin all contain acetaminophen. Imagine this scenario. You have a terrible cold. You start your day with a dose of Dayquil. Later, you take an Excedrin for the sinus pressure. Before bed, you take a dose of NyQuil. Unknowingly, you have just combined 3 separate products, multiplying your acetaminophen intake and pushing your liver far beyond its safe threshold. The effects accumulate. This cumulative burden is what leads to liver distress, damage, and ultimately, acute failure. The solution: scrutinize and separate. The key solution here is to become a label detective. Read every label, every time. Before you take any cold, flu, sinus, or pain medication, immediately look for the active ingredient list. If you see acetaminophen, or APAP, make a note of the dosage. Avoid combination therapy. If you are taking any product with acetaminophen, do not combine it with any other product that also contains it. Always know your 24-hour limit and track your intake diligently. For older adults who may metabolize drugs slower, even the standard recommended dosage might be too much if taken frequently. Understand the alternatives. Acetaminophen isn't the only OTC pain reliever. There's also ibuprofen, found in Advil, and naproxen, found in Aleve, along with good old aspirin. While these are less harmful to the liver than acetaminophen, they are heavily associated with causing stomach distress, inflammation, and leaky gut. They still put a significant burden on the liver's detoxification pathways, especially if combined with other medications or when used frequently. If you're using ibuprofen with something else from the acetaminophen list, the combination is always a bigger burden than one thing by itself. Use all of these sparingly, only when absolutely necessary, and never in combination without a doctor's oversight. The biggest takeaway here is vigilance. Your liver can regenerate. It's probably the organ in your body with the best regenerative capacity. As long as you don't have a bunch of other stressors and are generally healthy, your liver can often repair half its damaged cells in about a month. But you must stop the assault first. If you found this crucial information about OTC pain relievers helpful, please leave the number 1 in the comments below. If not, leave 0, so I know how to improve my next discussion. Part 2. The modern dietary. Triple threat: fructose, seed oils, and lifestyle diseases. While medication is the number 1 cause of acute liver failure, we need to address the factors that create the background stress, the chronic daily burden that weakens your liver over time and makes it vulnerable to that acute hit. This stress comes overwhelmingly from modern lifestyle choices, particularly the food we eat. The problem: a metabolically clogged system. In the past, alcohol abuse was the dominant cause of cirrhosis and liver failure. Today, the landscape is crowded with new, potent causes, chief among them being type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. We must understand these not just as diseases but as lifestyle choices, because for the vast majority of people, they are entirely preventable and reversible through diet and activity. These metabolic diseases clog up the liver, causing chronic inflammation, and are contributors to most kinds of disease, not just liver failure. They create an environment where the liver is constantly overwhelmed, making it harder for it to perform its 500+ different chemical reactions daily, including breaking down cholesterol, regulating hormones, and metabolizing waste. The importance: fructose and the fatty liver epidemic. Among the dietary culprits, 2 stand out as a tremendous burden on your liver: fructose and highly processed omega-6 seed oils. Fructose. When we talk about table sugar, white crystal sugar, high fructose corn syrup, agave, etc., it is roughly 50% fructose. The devastating component is that only the liver can metabolize fructose. Unlike glucose, which every cell in your body can use, fructose is a direct liver-specific tax. When you consume large amounts of it, the liver rapidly converts it into fat, leading directly to the condition known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, which is now rampant in the US. This is scar tissue waiting to happen. Processed omega-6. Seed oils. These are the common vegetable oils found in almost every processed food, fast food, and bottled salad dressing: soybean oil, corn oil, safflower oil, etc. They are often highly processed, and many Americans consume an enormous amount, over 40 liters per person per year of soybean oil alone. These oils are exceptionally high in omega-6 fatty acids, and when consumed in massive quantities, they unbalance the critical omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in the body, which immediately throws the body into an inflammatory state. Inflammation is a huge burden on the liver, as it has to constantly deal with the resulting damage and biochemical imbalance. The solution: strategic dietary reduction and rebalancing. Protecting your liver from metabolic stress involves 3 key actionable steps. Dramatically cut fructose. Minimize your intake of all added sugars, especially those containing high levels of fructose. This means cutting out sugary sodas, juices, and most processed foods. Instead, choose whole, unprocessed carbohydrates like rice or potatoes in moderation, which contain glucose but not the liver-taxing fructose payload. Eliminate processed seed oils. Stop cooking with and consuming highly processed omega-6 vegetable oils. Check your labels for soybean, corn, cottonseed, and safflower oils. Replace them with healthy fats like olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, or butter, if tolerated. This one switch can significantly reduce systemic inflammation. Manage fuel levels. The liver serves as a reservoir for glycogen, which it uses to replenish blood sugar between meals, balancing your fuel and energy levels. Overeating, especially chronic snacking, overloads this system. Consider practicing intermittent fasting or simply ensuring a longer period, 12 to 14 hours, between your last meal of the day and your first meal of the next. This gives your liver a much-needed break from constantly processing macronutrients. By addressing the twin demons of fructose overload and inflammatory seed oils, you are taking an enormous amount of metabolic waste and burden off your liver, reducing your risk of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease, and allowing the liver to focus on its essential daily functions. If you found this discussion on dietary threats and metabolic health valuable, please leave the number 1 in the comments below. If not, leave 0 so I know how to better serve your health needs. Part 3. Understanding the body burden, why it's not just one thing. To truly safeguard your liver, you must grasp one of the most helpful concepts in health: body burden. The problem: siloed thinking in health. In medicine and science, we often try to isolate things. We look at one specific process or pathway at a time, treating it as if it happens in a vacuum. This siloed thinking, treating a symptom with a pill without considering the whole person, is the old way. The new way, the whole body way, recognizes that the liver does not perform its 500+ chemical reactions one at a time. It does all of them, all the time. It's a 24/7 chemical processing plant, and every single thing you consume, inhale, or apply adds to its workload. The old approach is insufficient because it doesn't account for the accumulation of stressors. The importance: recognizing the overload threshold. Think of your liver's capacity as a full glass. When you exceed the rim of that glass, you spill over into liver damage and potential failure. This is the body burden threshold. The glass starts with unavoidable burdens. Metabolic waste, the natural, unavoidable waste products from metabolizing food and creating new tissues. Endogenous hormones, the hormones your body produces that the liver must break down once they have done their job, like estrogen, insulin, etc. These are the only burdens our ancestors had, the ones we are biologically designed to handle. Now, look at the additional man-made burdens we have piled on top. Exogenous hormones, hormones added to animal feed or found in drinking water, which the liver must now break down. Environmental toxins, industrial pollution, heavy metals, pesticides sprayed on food, and household cleaners, all foreign chemicals the liver must detoxify. Alcohol, a massive, frequent burden. Fructose, the liver-only metabolized sugar component. Processed omega-6 oils, causing chronic inflammation. Drug abuse, heavy drug use, tremendously stressful. Medication, the final sharp piece that can easily push you over the threshold. Here's the key. For a healthy 30-year-old, the glass may be large. But for those of us over 60, perhaps with comorbidities like type 2 diabetes or a less favorable genetic makeup, our 100% capacity is significantly lower. Our glass is smaller. It takes far fewer pieces of burden, far less of a bad diet, less stress, or fewer pills to reach that critical threshold and compromise the liver. The solution: the elimination strategy. The action here is simple but requires dedication. Stop adding man-made burdens to the pile. Prioritize elimination. Over-mitigation. Don't just look for liver supplements to mitigate the damage. Look to eliminate the causes. Your ancestors didn't have to deal with most of the items in that red rectangle. The world has changed more in the last 50 years than in the previous 50,000. Start cleaning up your environment and your lifestyle. Screen your environment. Choose organic produce when possible to reduce pesticide intake. Use natural, non-toxic household cleaners. Filter your drinking water to reduce heavy metals and environmental pollutants. Be critical of chemicals. Be extremely cautious with any chemical, whether it's a drug, a supplement, or an additive. If you must use OTC medication, do so when it's absolutely necessary, not just convenient. Never assume something is harmless just because it's easily available. This understanding of body burden is the single most valuable health concept you can adopt. It teaches you that health is a zero-sum game. Every chemical you introduce takes away a little bit of your liver's finite processing power. If you've realized the importance of the body burden concept, please leave the number 1 in the comments. If this idea didn't resonate, leave 0 and let me know why. Conclusion: living well by lightening the load. We began by asking a provocative question. What is the number 1 way you destroy your liver daily? The answer, shockingly, is the combination of acetaminophen and the false belief that over-the-counter medications are harmless, which, when added to a growing body burden from modern diet and environmental toxins, creates a perfect storm for liver failure. We've covered 3 critical areas that demand your immediate attention. The over-the-counter threat. Acetaminophen is the leading cause of acute liver failure in the U.S. Always be a label detective, avoid combination products containing it, and use all pain relievers only when absolutely necessary. The modern dietary assault. Fructose and highly processed omega-6 seed oils are creating a nationwide epidemic of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, by overwhelming your liver's metabolic capacity. Strategic dietary reduction is your key defense. The body burden concept. Your liver's health is a finite resource. It's not just one thing that hurts you, but the accumulation of metabolic waste, environmental toxins, poor diet, and medications that pushes you over the edge. The solution is the elimination strategy. Stop adding the man-made burdens that your body is not designed to handle. Your liver is a champion of regeneration. Even if a significant portion of its cells are damaged, it has a remarkable capacity to heal itself, often in a matter of weeks, provided you remove the source of the stress. This is your inspiration. Your life is not determined by the damage of the past, but by the choices you make starting today. A life lesson for all health champions. The most valuable lesson for all of us, especially as we advance in years, is this. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your filters. We have physical filters like the liver, which detoxifies the blood, and mental filters, which process the world's stress and negative information. If we constantly overload the physical filter with unnecessary chemicals and processed food, and the mental filter with unnecessary stress and negativity, both systems will fail. Commit to cleaning up both. Commit to simplicity, whole foods, less stress, and above all, mindful use of chemicals, especially medication. Don't let convenience override caution. Don't let a marketing budget convince you something is safe. Your health is your masterwork. If you truly want to master your health by understanding how your body really works, I urge you to take immediate action. Please comment below with the one thing you plan to eliminate from your daily routine after watching this video. Subscribe to my channel, hit that bell icon, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a life-saving video. And please, share this video with your friends, family, and loved ones. This isn't just about liver health. It's about having the vitality to truly live.